I love using stamps with my card making. And for unmounted stamps, there is a choice between cling and acrylic. And there's pros and cons to each one. Cling stamps allow you to look through them and help to position them. And cling rubber stamps don't. Obviously, they're not transparent. You can't see through them. So you kind of have to hope you're positioning things a little bit better. Here I'm using the Pinkfresh Studios Garden Roses cling stamp, and I'm using it in my Misty. And the nice part about using it in a stamp positioner is if you don't get a clear impression the first time, or your ink isn't quite as dark as you want it to be, you can restamp it. And while it's nice to be able to see through those clear stamps, you do need to make sure that you're not pressing too hard. They're softer than the cling rubber stamps, so it's very easy if you press too hard to get a blurred or smeared image. The rubber stamps, however, they're not quite as easy to position because you can't see exactly where they're going to go. So you couldn't say stencil the image first and then position the stamp second. You would definitely need to stamp first and then do the stenciling second. But you do get a nicer image, in my opinion. You don't have to worry quite as much about pressing too hard. I prefer the image from rubber stamps if there's a choice of the same image between the two. For clear stamps, even though you can see through them, sometimes it's hard to get a nice positioning. So one thing that I love to do is I have my image here that's already stenciled. I put some clear acetate on top of it, and then I ink my stamp and stamp on that acetate so I can see if I have my image lined up, and I don't have to risk possibly misstamping on my pre-stenciled image. I will stamp with whatever ink I want to stamp with afterwards. Here I'm just using Distress ink. You could also stamp and emboss it, but this way I know that it is positioned exactly right. And then I'm going to get a nice lined up image. So just something to keep in mind whether you're considering cling or rubber stamps.